Hey guys, sorry I haven't made a video in a very long time. As you know, I was in Berlin when I was making the other videos. Now I'm back in Canada again. Moved back here for school, so whoop-de-doo. But I was really busy, as you can see. I was kind of like traveling everywhere here. Now that I'm back, I have a time to make some videos for you. I don't really know what to make videos about, so if you want to know anything from me, then send me a message, post it in the comments, and I'll make a video purely for you. Today's video, I guess, I just kind of wanted to make one, so I kind of talk about like wet dreadlocks, sleeping with dreadlocks, if you get mold in your dreadlocks, which can happen, and I guess just like loose hairs and roots, but I've already talked about that before. Anyway, I guess I'll start with wet dreadlocks. A lot of you already know that it takes a very long time for them to dry. Mine takes about 10 to 12 hours to dry completely, because I mean, it's cold, it's winter time, you can't go outside in the sunshine and let them dry. If you can do that, then yeah, get your hair wet, wash your hair, and then go sit in the sun. They'll dry them fucking super quickly. But if you can't do that, try and avoid letting your dreads freeze, and definitely when they're wet, do not tie them back, do not put them in a hat, because that eventually could cause mold. Also, if you go to sleep with wet dreads, you can wake up with mold as well. And that's probably the worst possible thing that could ever happen with dreads, is if you got mold in your dreads. Ugh. Okay, so I guess now I'm on to mold. Again, mold is if your hair is wet and it doesn't dry completely before you sleep, or tie it up, or kind of anything. Just let it air out and let it dry completely before you sleep. Now, if you get mold, there are definitely ways that you can get rid of it. It's not the end of the world. You don't need to cut them off. My first set of dreads, I was in the rainforest in Costa Rica for a couple weeks, and I was staying in this little like tree house thing in the jungle, and you'd hang up a towel inside and it would stay wet for the whole 2 weeks. So my dreads got wet the first day. It was raining, and yeah, they stayed wet for 2 weeks and they got moldy, and I cut them off and then grew these bad boys, which I guess is okay, but it would be about twice as long now if I didn't have to do that. Anyway, so what I figured out over the years with mold and dreads is there's a way to get it out. You can use white vinegar. Don't use apple cider vinegar like in the washes and stuff. Use strong vinegar. Use white vinegar. Also, put some lavender oil in with that vinegar. Make it really strong. Not pure though. Put some water in there to dilute it. Make it really, really strong. And kind of like either have it in a bucket and put all your dreads in it and let it sit. Let your dreads sit in that vinegar for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, half an hour, depending on how bad it is. So let it sit in a little bit of lavender oil and some vinegar. Then rinse that out really well. Make sure it's dried really, really, really well. Go to sleep. Wake up the next day. Does it still smell? Probably. You'll probably have to do it a couple times before you get rid of the mold in there, but vinegar will kill it if you let the vinegar sit in your dreads. Like, you can also get your dreads soaked in the vinegar and lavender oil there and wrap it up in a towel and let it sit for a couple hours, as long as the vinegar is in there doing its job, which is killing the mold. Also, you can use, I think it's neem seed oil, I think. You can use that as well. Clove oil, that would also kill the mold. But from what I hear, the best way to do it is to use a little bit of lavender oil and a really strong white pure vinegar mixed in with a little bit of water. Make it fairly strong, and then do that a couple times for a week, 2 weeks, however, until you get the smell to go away. You'll usually smell mold starting to happen when your hair's wet after a shower and you're like, hey, I just washed it, but my hair smells like wet dog. That's not good. That's going to be mold. So try and stop it before it gets really bad, because you might have to end up cutting it out. I've heard some pretty horrible stories of people kind of like peeling their dreads open and it's all like mold spores inside, and No. Okay. So, if you are having trouble with mold and that's not working for you, I do have other ways to get rid of it. Stronger ways, more intense ways to get rid of the mold in your dreads. But I don't really have it in my brain. I have it written down on the computer that is being in use right now. So, if you have these problems and that vinegar, lavender, rinse, repeat thing doesn't work with you, then send me a message and I can get you some really strong shit that's okay for your hair to get that mold out. So don't worry if you have mold, you don't need to cut it. I guess to end the video real quickly, just make sure your hair gets as dry as possible, and that's about it. I mean, I could talk to you about roots and loose hair, but I'll save that for another time because I want to make more videos and I'm running out of shit to say. So, my dreadies, I hope you love yours just as much as I love mine. They're kind of a lifestyle, a way that I live my life. They just fit with it. I'm going into school soon, so I really hope with this career and business and whatever the fuck I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing. Doing mechanics or something. I hope I don't need to cut these, because I might not even want to go into it if I have to cut this. Okay, well, it's a really long video, so if you have any questions, in the comments. See ya!